Welcome to My Spoonie Sisters, featuring stories from special guests dedicated to empowering those with chronic illness. Our goal? To connect people and provide the support and tools they need to live a better life. For those with chronic illness, our energy levels just fade faster. We must be more purposeful with the spoons allotted to us. So grab your coffee or tea, sister, and tune in as My Spoonie Sisters share stories of living with chronic illness. Hi, my Spoonie Sisters. It is your host, Gracefully Jen, and I am here to talk to you today about psoriasis. So recently, I had the pleasure of being interviewed for a new upcoming podcast, and I am so thrilled that they reached out to me and asked me to be part of this. And so I'm going to share a little bit about them in the show notes. So be sure to go check out the podcast and give them some love. I'm going to share with you a little bit of my diagnosis story and, I don't know, any kind of helpful information that I can come up with about my whole psoriasis journey. Because I feel like in the past, when I've talked to people or been on other podcasts, I share with you my story about rheumatoid arthritis, but not about psoriasis. All right, here we go. In 2016 is when it officially started. I noticed little sores popping up on my ankle and slowly kind of climbing up my leg. There was probably maybe 2 or 3 in the beginning. And honestly, we didn't think this had anything to do with my autoimmune conditions whatsoever. And so I went to an urgent care doctor because for anyone that's familiar with this, when you are on infusion medications like I was at the time, you have to skip getting an infusion if you have any kind of infection or anything like that. So I went to get checked out and to find out what was going on so that we could attack it immediately, get this figured out so that I could, stay feeling good. I wanted my joints to continue feeling the way they had been feeling, which was pretty darn close to remission. So I went to this urgent care doctor and they believed that I had an infection somehow caught from either the pool or the hot tub at the gym we were going to. And so they started me on some antibiotics. I think they gave me some kind of ointment to put on. And, I did a follow-up with my family practitioner and they were on the same page. So a few weeks later, I went to see my rheumatologist for my monthly infusion. And I got into the office and I said, this is what is going on. I wanted to show you and find out if I'm still okay to do my infusion today. And, and if I can't, what do we do from here? She took one look at it and I love her. I love her so much. She took one look at it and she said, dear, I think I know what this is, but this is not a skin infection. I'm going to go get the other rheumatologist. She wanted to talk to her fellow coworkers. And so when they came back, they returned, there were 3 of them. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like having 3 rheumatologists come in to look at you and to discuss you. It's kind of a scary feeling. I was absolutely intimidated and freaked out. I thought that meant there was something really terrible going on. And so they came in and, they're holding up my hands and looking at them. They're looking at my feet because they had, by then I was starting to get like little sores on my hands and feet, little, but the ones on my legs were pretty big and a lot of uhs and okays. And it was actually, if I remember correctly, the older of the 3, a gentleman that looked at me and he said, "This is a rare form of psoriasis, and it's called pustular psoriasis." And of course, my rheumatologist chimed in, and they explained that in 1% of people, they have this rare reaction to TNF inhibitors, and that was the kind of treatment that I was on, and they called it pustular psoriasis. And so I immediately had to stop taking the one thing that was helping my joints and now find out what we could do to help both my joints and my skin. Gosh, I've been asked how that made me feel. And I'm, looking back, I just remember feeling heartbroken because I had seen the light of how I could feel so good. And now feeling like I'm at the beginning all over again and having to figure out what we're going to do. So what we did was she decided, okay, let's start with the dermatologist, see if we can get this under control. Everything the dermatologist had me try. He had me try 3 different things. They were painful. The first one was a spray, followed by an ointment, and then I think it was a cream for the third one. The spray felt like I was pouring acid on my skin. Oh my gosh, I can't even express the burning feeling. I already felt like my skin was melting, and now to feel it melting all over again, it was horrible. I wouldn't want to wish this on anyone. And so finally, I went back to the rheumatologist and I said, I don't want to see this dermatologist anymore. Everything he's trying is not helping. What can we do? And that's when we started doing weekly injections that treat both rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis. And, we started to see a little bit of improvement, but, I still kept having the overgrowth and accumulation of thick bits of skin building up, and then the pustules and the popping. I mean, it was just awful. And so finally we landed on a pill, and this pill, I had to take it every day. And in the beginning, it made my stomach upset and it gave me some migraines and stuff like that. But I kept telling myself, this is tolerable. I'm going to get through this. And eventually, your body gets used to it. And I'm telling you, my skin started to clear. Every once in a while, I'd still get a breakout in my ear or my scalp or whatever. Sometimes my hands, but my skin was clearing up. And so, the diagnosis was in 2017, but it's 2024. And I'm so thrilled to tell you that on a rare occasion, I get sores, but not very often. It's more of like a scaling and a flaking now if it happens. And it's usually when I'm stressed out or forget to take my medication. And since that, initial medication that I was on, I'm now on another one. I'm on a JAK inhibitor, and my skin is even more healed than before. I can actually look at my hands now, and they look like my hands. So I guess I want to tell you, if you're going through a psoriasis journey of some sort, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. Find what's soothing for you. Keep active with your voice. Tell them how you are feeling. Tell them when you are not accepting that something's failing you. Tell them when you don't want to see a person anymore because they're not taking you seriously. And if you need my toolkit, I'm absolutely willing to share it with you. I can tell you what lotion is my favorite. It is actually called Utter Balm. I'm happy to provide the link in the show notes for you. It is soothing. It doesn't burn. It feels good. I would use it multiple times a day, and it's like a dream. I buy it on Amazon. I'm happy to share with you what kind of things I've used on my scalp. If you want to know, I'm here to share because I want you to feel good too. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. What I am is a fellow patient that doesn't want you to feel the way that I felt. And I want you to remember you're not alone. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and to hear more of my psoriasis journey. And if you ever have a question or want to reach out to me, my Instagram is always open. You can find me at My Spoonie Sisters or Gracefully Jen. My DMs are always open. And until next time, don't forget your spoon. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. The information should not be taken as a replacement for medical, clinical, professional advice, diagnoses, or medical intervention. My Spoonie Sisters and guests will not be held liable for any of the consequences of such action or inaction. Trigger warning. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics including, but not limited to, suicide, abuse, mental illness, and chronic disease. You are advised to refrain from listening if you are likely to be offended or adversely impacted by any of these topics. None of the guests or hosts will be responsible for your use of the information contained therein. Life is not merely to be alive, but to be well. Living a life with a chronic illness is best described with one word: unpredictable. Be Well's products are designed to make the unpredictable easier to deal with. Back when I was getting my infusions, I would have loved to have their adult zip hoodie. They even have one in pink. They also have everything from one-day pill holders to urgency buckets. So remember,
They want to make your life a little easier. So be sure to check out Be Well.